So fans protest as Chinese translations rename Pokemon characters. Now, this is what's happening. This is the long and the short of it. The Pokemon Company has seen fit to release Pokemon Sun and Moon in China for the Nintendo 3DS. If you remember, the embargo on video game consoles has been lifted in China, and recently I did a story on the clone console, which looks like a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One controller combined together. But the big manufacturers, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, do operate in there as well. So, they still have the ability to issue games there. Pokemon Sun and Moon is one of the first ones that's going to be there. And they are trying to translate this into several Chinese languages, mainly Cantonese. According to QZ.com, in Greater China, Pokemon will be officially called this. Don't ask me, I'm not Chinese. Or Jingling Bakumang. Bakugan. Beyblade. Got it, guys. Beyblade. Jingling Beyblade. Bakugan. Go, Bakugan! Anyways, if you guys remember my playthrough of Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal, this kind of is very similar to that, where they called them elf monsters, because Jingling means spirit or elf, and Bakamang is the translation of Pokemon. Again, I'm not Chinese, so I'm probably butchering the fuck out of this, but then again, a lot of people would probably butcher my native language, which would be German, and I'm not too good at that anymore either, because I've lived in America for most of my life, and I was only in Germany for 4 years. So, again, I don't care. I don't get offended. And if people get offended because I suck at saying their language, well, you know what? Come over to America and try to speak English to me, and it doesn't fucking matter. Not to me, anyways. That's the whole point of this article. People are getting pissed off because it's getting translated into something else. Because when you have one language, it gets translated into something else, and it doesn't carry the same meaning. For example, in English, you can have one term called bad, and somebody could say, hey man, that's badass. And someone from a different country would be like, do you mean that is a bad donkey? Or do you mean that is not good and an ass? And it's like, no, man, you don't get the nuance. So the problem is that they're translating these names and they're changing them. For example, Pikachu is supposedly Pikachu or Pikakui, and then in Cantonese, it actually reads as Pikaju or Zhao or Pai Ka Zhao. So, however you want to pronounce it, however you want to say it, again, nuances, different ways of speaking, things like that. So, there's protesting going on for this. I'm not really sure why. There's over 6,000 people who have signed an online petition to protest the changes, offering to boycott Nintendo entirely if the company doesn't agree to their requests. Look, I don't know. This is not something that bothers me. Here is my contesting points to this and my supporting points. So contesting wise, you're changing the name of the Pokemon in which the Chinese people will not identify with the same names that Americans do. However, around the world, Pokemon are called something completely different, even if it translates to the same thing. So Pikachu, which let's just use this as an example. This is not correct by any means. Well, let's just say in Italian, Pikachu translates to Pikachu, Pikachu, and then it translates to Pikachu in English. Okay, no harm, no foul. But here, it translates to something else in English, kind of. A little bit of a difference. And then, when the Chinese people interact with English speaking, interact with Japanese, they're going to have a completely different perception on the names and how it's said and things like that. Now, that's the contesting point. Now, I understand that point. Okay, no problem. But at the same time, on the supporting point, I would rather see China have Pokemon than not have it, because, my god, if they've never had Pokemon at all, holy shit, that's a huge country that hasn't even seen or messed with Pokemon. And think about this for a second. Pokemon is the second most grossing video game franchise in the world, with over 265 billion sales, I believe. Pretty sure about that, combined together. And you think about that for a minute. If it's the second most grossing franchise without even touching China, think about what happens if it does get to China. All of those people will be exposed to the wonderful world of Pokemon. They will get to play Pokemon. And if they're starting off with Sun and Moon, imagine if Nintendo ports over Red and Blue. Imagine if Nintendo translates all of the other games. People will be so happy, so excited. They will be introduced to a great world of Pokemon. And you want to take that away because they're not being translated slightly properly, because there's different nuances and things like that. That's kind of fucked up in my eyes. That's kind of selfish, self-centered, and stupid. But maybe I'm personally missing the point. Maybe I'm completely wrong on this subject. You can feel free to correct me in the comment section below and give me a reason why I should care more. Me personally, I would just rather see someone enjoy the game. Because when I played Vietnamese Crystal, man, oh my god, I don't think I'll ever play a game as fun as that in my life. And I mean, that's on a whole different level than just Pokemon itself. Trust me, Pokemon Crystal is my favorite game in the world. But when I played Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal, oh my god, it was so fucking stupid. And it was hard because I didn't know any of the moves. I had to memorize the moves, I had to translate them myself, and I couldn't really translate them because they weren't in a proper language. They were all fucked up, crazy, stupid names. And it was crazy, man. But it was fun because I just waited for the next thing that would be said. Missile bomb. Attack radio tower. Oh, the elf god is angry at you. Hey, please register your fellows. Oh my god, that game was fun, man. But point being, I would rather have people enjoy the game than not have the game at all. How do you feel on this subject matter? Leave your comments, questions, concerns in the section below. And I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. As always, good gaming, and God bless.